So when you have to open up the transportation game, you will need to go to the start menu, and in the lab you'll go to the start menu and you look for an icon like this, or you look for a folder that has Lenrock Plastics, the Lenrock Plastics name or the transportation game, and you'll click on this icon. And then you'll have these 4 windows open up. You want to make sure you tile those windows because you need to see each one of those windows. It's also a good idea to open up an Excel spreadsheet, as I'll show you in a few minutes. So I'll keep an Excel spreadsheet open. So these windows are the ones that you're going to be needing to execute your task 1. So you have your routing map, which is where you're going to build those routes, and then you have the truck schedule, which lists your 10 trucks. And as you build a route, you're going to assign it to one of these 10 trucks. And you have the order status file that provides you with the orders that have to be delivered that particular day. And as you build your route, those orders will be added to the route. And as you add a route to a truck, those trip reports for each truck are going to be listed here. For each trip that a truck makes, you will see a copy of that trip, and you will see a summary of all of the truck trips. So what you want to do is to start off with, let's go ahead and start routing. So I can see that Raleigh is 14,000 units. We have a truck that has got a maximum capacity of 22,000. Everything else is pretty low, so I can go ahead and start assigning loads. The way you do that is by double-clicking on a city, and you can see this route is being built for you. So I'm going to keep adding. So you see I've got 4,197. So the first leg of the trip is always a solid line, and then the subsequent legs are listed as dashed lines. I can see the shipment so far and the order in which they've been listed. So Atlanta is the first stop, Nashville is the second stop, and Memphis. And as you add those stops there, you can see that those shipments today are now added to that particular route. And as you add more shipments to that route, you can see that the capacity starts building up. Okay, so we'll look at some of these other functions a little bit later. We can see the truck capacity is at 22,500, so we'll close out of that. We'll continue building a route. You can see it's the miles are up to 870 and the quantity is 6,034. Macon, let's do Columbia, Raleigh, and can we add Charleston? Yeah, we can add Charleston. How about adding Richmond? No, it takes us over, because now if you go in, you can see 486. So now, for example, Richmond, if I want to bring that down, I can bring it down to 486. So I can bring that down exactly to how much, so the load is exactly where I want it. So you can see how I'm changing the increments to exactly, now I'm at capacity. And now that means I will need to send more of these shipments. I will need to send another truck to Richmond to deliver the remaining 486. So I say okay, and so that is my shipments for Richmond. So those are unassigned. Now I've started by going to Atlanta. Let's see if I go to Richmond first. The distance is still the same, the miles are still the same. So I want to assign it. Now the way I assign is, you see, as soon as I click on a truck, the name is highlighted in red and italicized. So I'll start with the first truck. I will paste the route from the map, and that is my route. So the bad thing is that I have the one delivery that is 7 days out, that is made right at the end of the week. But let's go ahead and see how we can add more shipments over here. So let's add another route. So we start by going to, say, Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, and maybe we go to Richmond next, Alexandria, and Baltimore. And we are 8,000. We can see the shipments over here. So the balance that we left at Richmond, the 486, we can now add to this route, and we can paste it from the map. So there's a couple of things over here. It looks like these two trucks are going to be making some really delayed deliveries. I want to look at my score now, and I can see that my score, I'm using two trucks, so that's pretty small. The total mileage is going to be scored according to how much miles I've covered, and that's reasonably low. But what I can see over here is that my driver days is high, and that the total customer waiting time as well as the maximum customer waiting time is pretty high. So one thing I could think about doing is let's see, I'll copy this and paste it. So I can name this something as, 2 routes day 1. Alright, so that's my score for 2 routes day 1. So let's see what happens if, I can't click on anything until I click out of this. I say, okay, so let's see what happens when I split up this into 2 routes. So let's cut this to the map. And let's say I take out Macon, Columbia, Raleigh, and Charleston. So you can see, in order to take out a route from to take out a delivery from a route, I just have to double click it. Now I think Macon is okay, so I'm going to double click this, and as you can see, it has changed the route completely. So I'm just going to delete this whole route, and I'll say, I do that by double clicking on the warehouse symbol. So it's say, would you like to clear the active route? I say yes. And you can see that it's taken away some of these signs. So I go back and I unselect that and select it, and it comes back again. So I want to see what happens if I do a Nashville, Memphis, Birmingham, Macon, Atlanta. So I go into the edit shipments, and I see that it's not really full. So I'll say, okay, let's see how that works. I'll assign it to Sir Barton, based on the map. So I'll minimize that. Then I have Charlotte, Raleigh, and Columbia. Let's see if I can put Columbia, Raleigh, and Charlotte on a separate. And let's say I select Omaha. So I paste that from a map. So I've got another small route. And now let's see what my score is. So I still have Richmond. So I go in to this route here, I copy it to the map, and I edit the shipments. And I have still these routes to add. So now I paste from the map again. So I cut this to the map, edit the shipments, and I can add this. So now I can see that everything has been added here. Select back, paste from the map. Now look at my score. You can see that my score has been drastically brought down from from 8,000 to 5,900. So I can copy this, and I can say 3 routes day 1. And this is how I go about reducing my score. So let's see if I can reduce this. So I want to take this route, and I can put this back onto the map again. Let's see if I can turn this into two routes. So maybe I can do Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, and Richmond, Alexandria, and Baltimore together. And let's see if I can save some more money over there by switching those out. So all I do is I reduce Richmond, Alexandria, and Baltimore, and then I give this route, paste this to Gallon Fox, and then War Admiral, we have Richmond, Alexandria, and Baltimore. That goes to War Admiral. So we have 4 routes now. So 5,506 versus 5,900. So it's brought down even more. So it looks like the more more trucks I use, the lower my scores. But one trade-off you got to realize is that as you use more trucks, you're going to go. This black line says that we are day 1. So day 2, day 3, and only on day 4 will we have 3 of our trucks available again to ship. So we have to balance the number of assets we have, because if we don't have trucks, now we got to position our routes in such a way that it can only be executed after the truck comes back. So if we are day 2 and we run out of trucks, then we can only add a route to Sir Barton, which he can only start at day 4. So we have to be careful of how many trucks we use. So when I look at these numbers, it's about 400 points less than the previous one that had 3 routes. So maybe what I'll do is I want to combine those 2 routes, because as I said, as I progress the game, if I keep using 4 trucks each time, by the time it's the second day I'll be running out of trucks, and then that'll increase my lead time, because now I can only use a truck after it comes back from a route. So what I'll do is I'll look at maybe using combining this route and maybe not that route, but this 2 routes. So I'll cut this back to the map and cut this back to the map. Oh. So this is, cut this one back to the map. Say okay. So as I said, if you want to delete an entire route, you can just double click on the warehouse, say yes. So what we'll do is we'll go to Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, Columbia, Raleigh, and Charleston. Okay, and we're still underneath the load, and we filled up a truck, and so we assign it to Gallon Fox, paste it from the map, and check our score, and that looks like it's added some to our score that I didn't think it should have. So let's go back to our drawing board. Maybe it was the last one that I should have. So I'll say okay, and we'll go back and we will. So I think this is this one. So if you click on a route, it's going to display it on the map. So I just want to remove that. So I've cut this back to the map, and we will separate this into 2 different routes as we had before. And paste from the map. And maybe we'll include these. So copy to the map and delete this. And I don't want to see that, so I'll go here, here. So this too I want to cut to the map this time. So there's a bubble there, so you can keep seeing this thing come up, so I just click on it and close the display. So what I want to do is I want to add Columbia, Raleigh, Baltimore, Alexandria, Richmond, and Charlotte. And we'll stick it on here. So let's look at that. And that's what we want to see. So we have 3, 5,600, which is less than 5,900, we say OK. And confirm that, say OK, and now we advance to the next day. So as we advance, you can see this black line advances from day 1 to day 2. So any route we build is going to start from day 2 onwards. I'm going to click on that and remove that. You saw that's a bug in the system. So let's start by, the nice thing that you can do is I can take this and copy it to the map. As soon as I copy it to the map, you can see that it already adds those loads to the map. So we can go in and see they're pretty full already. So let's say okay, it seems to be a good route. So I'll paste on the map and we can just do the same thing since it was a low cost. I can just go in and say copy to the map. So this is not utilized fully. So what I'll do is I can probably add Columbia, Conner Valley, and Charleston maybe. So that seems a little bit more reasonable. So it looks a little bit funny because we're going to Columbia, then we're going down here, and then we're going up to Charleston. So the routing is a little bit off. So I'm going to remove that and maybe go to Charlotte, sorry, not Charleston, Charlotte first, Columbia, Jacksonville, Orlando, and Tampa. And it looks like a beautiful load, and then you add it to. So that leaves us with Baltimore, Raleigh. So we start on Raleigh here. And so that too is fairly filled up, so we can look at, and I can see us go, which is pretty reasonable at 6,900. So we say okay, and now we say advance, and there we are on to the next. So now it looks like we have Tampa and Atlanta that are pretty full, so let's try to fill these up in one load, and maybe we can get something in Orlando. Oh, that goes over, so we won't go to Orlando. Or maybe, how about Macon? Macon is 754, which would probably be reasonable. So instead of going to Tampa first, we go to Macon and then go to Tampa. So that's 2,000. We need another 200. See if there's 200 available. Alexandria, that's too far out. So actually we can add 2,000 more. So maybe go to Columbia. Yeah, so that's reasonable. You can see we are under capacity. Hold on. So it looks like we are losing something in Tampa. We don't want to lose that amount of Tampa. So maybe we move Columbia and we add whatever we needed to. And so we are about close to capacity. We need maybe another 500 more. Maybe we could start off in Nashville, 500. Yeah. So that's a possibility. So we go to Nashville, Tampa, Columbia. I delete that again. Yes. Atlanta, Nashville, Lincoln, Tampa. Yeah, that was what I was looking for. We're close, not full, and then we select our driver based on the map. So we can click that off. Again, that's a bug that we have to click that off all the time. So we have, maybe we can do a round where we go to Memphis, Birmingham, Columbia, Raleigh, Richmond, Alexandria, Baltimore. Charlotte. And we can probably add Orlando and Jacksonville as well. Maybe we can put that in a separate thing. This is about half full, so we provide that based on the map. Now you can see, if you cut back to the map, you can see that it has 10,000 units, but it has a long mile, so maybe we can cut this a little bit, or if we cut it, we probably run out of trucks, and as you can see, once we progress in the next period, we only have 2 trucks over here. So we are going to be seriously short on trucks, and that will cause our customer service to be delayed. So maybe I'll just stick with this route. And then send a truck only to Jacksonville or Orlando. Of course, it is solely underutilized, but we'll see what that does to our score. Ooh, that takes our score way up, but sometimes you have to make some sacrifices, so it's okay. It's still within the margins of our A grade. It's less than 13,000. So let's move on to the next round. We'll take out these. So now Raleigh's got a high amount, Atlanta's got a high amount, and Tampa's got a high amount. So maybe we combine one of these. So maybe we go to Atlanta. Maybe to Columbia because that's a low amount. Raleigh, and probably Charlotte, so you can add another 1,000 or 2,000 in there. So Charlotte will take us over the top, so it's 4,550. So maybe we can do a partial load for Charlotte. So let's edit the shipments and let's do partial load in Charlotte. Okay, so we say okay, so that makes up a route based on the map. So we have some left over in Charlotte that we have to make sure that we remember. It's 2699. So maybe what we'll do is we'll go down to Nashville, Memphis, Birmingham, Macon, Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, and then Charlotte. And that seems to be a reasonable one that we could adopt, which leaves us the top 3. So we can put this onto a button based on the map. And then Gallant Fox will just give Richmond, Alexandria, and Baltimore. Okay. and you can see what our score is. So our score is still under 13,000, but you can see that our maximum customer wait time and average customer wait time is actually increasing, and that's hurting us. So next period we'll get 3 more trucks, and we have to think about how we can balance those 3. So when we advance, so we have Omaha, we have War Admiral. Actually, we have only 2 more trucks because Secretariat still has one delivery to be made before it gets back to the warehouse. So now I don't know if we can make 4 deliveries. So Atlanta is high and Richmond is high. Atlanta, Tampa, and Richmond is high. So maybe we'll do this. We'll go Nashville, and give this to Omaha. And for Admiral, we'll do Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, Columbia, and maybe, I don't know if we should add Raleigh in there. So we'll take the map, and then we'll do Charlotte, Raleigh, Richmond, Atlanta, Baltimore, Alexander, Baltimore. So we're about half utilized, and here you can see when we added the Secretariat, there's going to be a delay before the shipments even go out because the truck has to get back, then we have to load it after an hour, only then it can go out. So you can see this bug, all you have to do is just click it off. Okay, so now let's look at our thing, who's taken us over the top. So that's the problem when you don't manage your assets well and you have too many routes. So I'm looking at a B grade now in terms of my score. So anyway, I say okay, and I advance this. So day 6, that's when I stop getting any orders. So I keep advancing it, and then I'm finished. We're at day 9, and I see my final score, 13,000. So all I have to do now is copy it and paste it in a place. So for example, in a spreadsheet, so I can call this my final score. And I can also copy the summary. So this is final trip summary. And I can also copy individual parts of the summary. So for example, if I want all Sir Barton trips, I can copy this trip, and I can say this is Sir Barton trip of day 1, right? So that's the first day of the trip. And then I say, let's do it this way. Day 1. Then I have Sir Barton day 2. And which day was it that he went out again? That truck 1, 2, 3, 4, day 4. So I can find Sir Barton again, copy the trip, paste it, and I can have all of my drivers, because this will help me to do, and also I can copy the schedule and paste that. Now this will help me plan and bring my score lower. So if I look at my score, I can see that my average customer wait time really made me suffer, and also my maximum customer wait time. So total mileage, I can probably do a better job in routing. So I want to do a better job in routing to bring my miles down. Now for that I'll have to go into my into my case and I can look at my case here and look at the mileage and see how I can reduce the mileage over there, or just by trial and error in the game itself. So how you do it is entirely up to you. And maximum customer wait time. So if I reduce this to below 0, I can see that I can immediately bring this down to under 600. I can reduce this by 600 if I bring this below 1. So if I reduce this by the average customer wait time by even a quarter per day, I can reduce this by 600 points, which will bring my score below 13. So maybe that's something that might help me. So I need to organize my assets better. That maybe reduces my customer wait time by 2 days, or even by 1 day. So if I have a maximum customer wait time of 4, that should bring down my score enough so I can actually get it down to below 30,000 to be an A grade. So those are the kinds of things that you want to do. So once you finish the game, you can save it. I can save it as, so I call it JPS my first attempt. Save it. If you have a file, then you say yes, you will write it. And then you X out of the thing, you have this file over here. If you want to go back and try it again, go back to your start menu, click on the same icon, and start all over again. And then just restart and then try a different approach, try some different rules maybe, and see how you can lower that score, that total score down. So now, of course, you don't have any trust cubes or customer service, all that, so that's why the total score is that now. So if you want to bring up your previous saved version, then just click on that. This does nothing, but this shows you, gives you a copy of the record. So you can see what you did last time and maybe figure out ways in which you can use some tricks or some rules to maybe reduce your score a little bit better, improve your asset utilization, improve your customer service. So those expected scores, wait times reduce, and the mileage also reduces, and your full driver days. You can even use less trucks, but fewer trucks actually reduces the score only by 200 points per day. So keep all those things in mind when you're doing the homework. And this is only a tutorial for the software. So hopefully that gave you some ideas. If you have any questions, you can of course always ask them to me or email them to me, and what we want. All right, thank you for listening, and good luck with the homework.